Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our host, Major General John Kem, Commandant of the United States Army War College, welcome to this special occasion linking the Army's legacy of 245 years of noble and honorable service to the nation with its future as we break ground for the Army War College's new academic facility. We'll also recognize the 2020 resident class's gift, which will be placed on the new facility when it is completed. Thank you to all of our guests in attendance. Your presence honors the United States Army and reflects your sincere appreciation of the Army War College mission, which is to enhance national and global security by developing ideas and educating U.S. and international leaders to serve and lead at the strategic level. I'd like to recognize our distinguished guests today. U.S. Senator Pat Toomey is represented today by Bob D'Souza, an Army War College alum. U.S. Representative Scott Perry, an Army War College alum. Pennsylvania Senator Judy Ward. Pennsylvania Legislator Barbara Gleim. Carlisle Mayor Tim Scott. Colonel John Litz, Baltimore District Commander, Army Corps of Engineers. Mr. John Rand, President, Manhattan Construction, who is our general contractor for this project. Mr. Brian Killian, Vice President, Manhattan Construction. Dr. Margie Ensign, the President of Dickinson College. Vice Admiral Retired Keith Lippert, Senior Military Commissioner of the Pennsylvania Military Community Enhancement Commission. Mr. Rob Keith, Chairman of the Board at the Carlisle Area Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Jamie Keener, CEO of the Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation. Ms. Ruth Collins, CEO of the Army War College Foundation. And Mr. Mike Perry, Executive Director of the Army Heritage Center Foundation. Today we're at the site of the academic facility, which is scheduled to be completed in 2023. A stunning amount of planning and design has already gone into this project over the last 5 years. Today, we officially begin the process of turning those Herculean efforts into physical reality. Thanks to the vision of the Commandant and the Provost, and the efforts of the entire planning team, the class of 2023 and generations to follow will benefit from a student-centered facility with large flexible classrooms, multiple collaboration spaces, and an information and technology infrastructure ready for the future. Its location here, adjacent to Collins Hall and the Center for Strategic Leadership behind you and to the right, will enable a campus approach to learning. Today we'll hear from several speakers about the significance of this development on behalf of the Army, the Joint Force, our interagency partners, our international partners and allies, and the nation for generations to come. Major General John Kem is the 51st Commandant of the U.S. Army War College. Under his leadership, the college has launched a trajectory of innovation to better prepare agile senior leaders for the challenges of the future. General John Kem.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a great day to be a soldier, great day to be here at Carlisle Barracks, historic Carlisle Barracks. Been an integral part of the Carlisle Borough for hundreds of years, part of Cumberland County, and part of the great state of Pennsylvania. We're all excited to have all the elected officials here. Thank you all for gracing us with your presence. The other distinguished guests that were already introduced, we're excited to be here. You know, we intentionally chose the 14th of July, oh, sorry, the 14th of June, I was saying, for today's ceremony because it is the Army's birthday. And that's 245 years of our legacy. So let me take a few remarks about that before I do a little more groundbreaking talk. So 245 years of celebrated service to the nation. 245 years ago, when the Continental Army was formed out of the militias in Boston, George Washington had not joined them yet. He was on his way up from Mount Vernon, had not made it there yet. And he was in support of a fledgling nation that they called these United States, that we now call the United States. And now in my 35-year career, it's hard to believe it's been that long. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. In those 35 years, I've been honored to work with and know literally thousands of soldiers. Soldiers whose contributions reflect Americans' values. Soldiers, family members, civilians, veterans, and retirees who don't need a uniform to act in the Army's mission way, who reflect the Army's values: leadership, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The world is a challenging place. We see those in the headlines every day or when you watch the evening news. It always has been. For a few examples, I look back in history on what happened on this day back in history. In 1815, it was the start of Napoleon's Waterloo campaign, which he eventually lost. In 1864, this is the date that Congress ordered that black Union soldiers be paid the same as white soldiers. This is the day that General Pershing and his staff arrived in France to start the American Expeditionary Forces efforts in World War I. In 1940, this is the day that the Nazis opened Auschwitz. It was also the day they occupied Paris. 1944, this is the first day that the very first U.S. B-29 raid on Japan and the Normandy invasion was stalled just off the beaches. So that's the legacy and the history in many ways. What about today on this 245th birthday? Today we have soldiers deployed and serving overseas. We all know about Iraq and Afghanistan, but there's soldiers in about 120 other countries around the world at any given time. Here at home, we've seen military medical personnel on the front lines, a National Guard, reserve and active, supporting healthcare workers across the nation. We have Army personnel assisting FEMA and local officials in lots of places, as based on the assault of the coronavirus. And then many of you don't know this, but the Army labs are doing some of the cutting edge research on trying to find vaccines. And we all recognize that Flag Day and the Army birthday are occurring at a sobering time for our nation in the last few weeks. Selfless service, respect, honor, courage are every bit as important when you're supporting the nation here at home, in supporting our fellow citizens, and our oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. As General Washington said in late June 1775, he was on his way to join that Continental Army, and he wrote a letter. He met with the New York Assembly. He wrote a letter to them, the colony of New York, and he said, when we assumed the soldier, we did not lay aside the citizen. When we assumed the soldier, we did not lay aside the citizen. He was recognizing that even though you might serve in the military, you are a citizen, and you always return back to that. So it's an important thing to keep in mind. His words and our Army history, both the good and the not so good, remind us of our past and help us shape the future. Shaping the future, that's really why we're here today. This groundbreaking on this day at the nation's only United States Army War College, the largest of all the war colleges, reminds us of what is at stake is far more than a building. It's far more than the classrooms and the auditorium. It's going to be amazing. You can see it. I've seen the design, right? It's going to be an amazing thing when it's done. But the building is just a small part of what the institution is about. Really, this academic building that Congress and the administration have supported is an investment in the Army and the nation's future. Today, we start construction of a building, but it's really on a continuing idea, a sense of purpose for an uncertain future, but one with tremendous promise. That is why this building is so important. It is a key to learning, a key to connections, a key to collaboration, and a key to the future leadership of the Army, the Joint Force, our international students, international partners. You know, the first one of these was built in early 1900 on the site of Fort McNair. President Roosevelt was there for setting the cornerstone back then. Then we had Root Hall down the street here in the 1960s. You may not know this, but we have a person working at the Army Heritage Center who was the photographer for the ribbon cutting in the late 60s. And one day I was passing by him, and he told me that story that he was here, and he goes, do you know who was the guest of honor and the speaker for the ribbon cutting? I was like, no, I have no idea. And he goes, it was U.S. Grant, Brigadier General U.S. Grant, the grandson of President Grant, and former General Grant, obviously. And I was like, well, that's pretty amazing. And he goes, but he wasn't there because of who his last name was. I was like, well, why was he there? He was there because his wife was the daughter of Elihu Root, the Secretary of War, who started the very first War College. So that tells you that history has been a long time, but it's not that long, right? 1900 to 1960s to today. And this building will be in this spot for the next 50, 70, who knows how long. If we've designed it right and it's flexible enough, and Manhattan Construction and the Corps of Engineers do it right, it'll be flexible enough to go for 100 years. At least that's what we hope. Now let me introduce our next speaker. Congressman Scott Perry represents our district in the United States Congress. He's a graduate of the United States Army War College class of 2012 and had a 39-year career of service to our nation in the military. Brigadier General Perry retired in March of 2019 from his position as Assistant Adjutant General for the Army at the Pennsylvania National Guard's Joint Force Headquarters. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Perry.
Well, thank you, sir. And thanks to all that are here and present today. I do want to thank you very much for the invitation. For many of us, we're just happy to be out and about and with people. So that it is indeed wonderful. And of course, to be here at the War College, it's in a way coming home. As you mentioned, I attended the War College here, but of course, much of my roots are right here in Cumberland County, right here in Carlisle, and this is an installation that we have fought for over many, whether we were just bystanders as citizens, or whether we were representatives and elected officials, or whether we were wearing the uniform. We've had to fight to maintain this fabulous facility and what happens here. And I will just tell you that it is a long time coming, as you know, sir. This has been a long time coming. It's been the ebb and flow, and is it ever going to happen? And of course, if you were a student in Root Hall, I listened to what you said about the flexibility, and you got to be flexible in if you're a student here at the War College, and I do think that was part of one of the good things about it. I mean, it wasn't perfect, right? It wasn't perfect, and you had to stay focused on your task. I'm really happy I did it. It was really enlightening and enriching. I don't want to do it again, and I'm happy I don't ever have to do it again. That having been said, this has been a long trek, and this is about the future. This is about looking forward and saying this is where we need to go based on where we've been. The War College is one of the places that we want to preserve the past so we can learn from it, so that the mistakes that were made before never happen again, because people tend to forget as generations go by. I am so proud. I am honored to be here. I am so proud to be a small part of helping this finally across the finish line. It is with great pride that I am with you here today. We are so excited for this. We're going to watch it come out of the ground, and it is going to be a shining example of what America can do. It will be the standard all around the globe, and people will not only want to come here for the coursework, because you fight. I would just tell you, you fight to be in the War College. As soon as you get in, then you wonder what you did to yourself. But before that, you fight to get in. And you want to come to a first-class facility and know that your country is maintaining the standard and is setting the standard. That is what this construction is going to do. We appreciate the Corps of Engineers. The contractor is going to do it. A lot is on the line. The world's watching.
I'm pleased to introduce Mr. John Rand, President of Manhattan Construction Company.
We too have been looking forward to this day, and on behalf of our entire company, I want to congratulate the Army War College for this very, very important project. Major General Kem, Colonel Litz, on behalf of our company, thank you very much for your continued confidence in our ability to deliver what will be, we hope, to be a first-class facility to resemble and fulfill the mission of the War College. While the building is 201,000 square feet, and will house a 500-seat auditorium, dining facilities, and multiple classrooms for learning and education. In addition, the building serves a much higher purpose. Through the doors of this facility will pass future leaders and strategic thinkers for advancing knowledge in the global application of land power. We at Manhattan are honored to be a part of the project, and more importantly, serving our nation. And over the course of the next 33 months, over 250 men and women will engage in the construction of the project. We like to say that building is a team sport. It takes different people with different skill sets working together in the unison to achieve a goal. It is a privilege to serve the institution whose service members embody the values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage.
Every year, the Army War College class contributes a gift to the college. That gift is often a matter of serious discussion as the student body determines what one item will best represent the class and its values. The class of 2020 decided to provide the War College crest, which will be placed on the face of the new facility. Today, the class of 2020 is represented by Colonel Thad Collard.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, leaders, distinguished guests, and friends of the United States Army War College. As he mentioned, my name is Colonel Thad Collard, and I have a distinct honor of representing the academic year 2020 resident U.S. Army War College class. I'm an Army Reserve Medical Service Corps officer from Washington State, and in my last assignment, I was a brigade commander in California, and for my next assignment, I was selected to remain on faculty at the War College as the John Parker Chair of Reserve Component Studies. And as of last Friday, along with my classmates, I graduated from the U.S. Army War College. This has been an amazing year, full of high level of education, great discussions, a plethora of experiences, and development of relationships that will last a lifetime. Our time in Carlisle has been extremely memorable, and I cannot think of a better stage and a better setting for the college. During my time at the War College, I had the privilege of serving as the gift committee chair for the student body. Student body of 365 students from every military service, many government agencies, and 76 international partner countries contributed to this year's gift. The gift committee had a diverse group of 25 representatives to take a gift from brainstorming to completion. It was not an easy task to wrangle the diverse perspectives, everyone's good idea fairies, on what the best gift would be for the U.S. Army War College. But we unanimously wanted the gift to be focused on the new building and the future of strategic leaders, be something the college requested and that would be useful, beneficial for years to come, and an enduring representation of the class of 2020. Through 8 months of meetings, coordination, and virtual arm wrestling, and a vote from the student body, we are very pleased with the final gift. The gift is a 60-inch round medallion made of cast bronze to be displayed on the front of the new building. It was manufactured by Matthew Bronze, a 170-year-old company headquartered in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The crest displays the U.S. Army War College coat of arms, representing a rich history and legacy of developing leaders since 1901, and it weighs approximately 645 pounds. As you can imagine, 645 pounds is not an easy thing to maneuver around. And so we're displaying a mock-up of the gift today, and I look forward to returning to Carlisle in the future once it's displayed, as so many of us do, to see our crest and admire the new academic facility, the flexible spaces, and with a small dose of jealousy, and experience again the welcoming community surrounding Carlisle Barracks. Major General Kem, as the 51st Commandant of the United States Army War College, please accept the gift from the resident class of 2020 on behalf of the United States Army War College.
At this time, I'd like to welcome the groundbreakers forward one at a time. I'll ask you to come up, and I'll in the order from your right to your left. And so please, Lieutenant Colonel Short, Mr. Rayan, there he is, Colonel Litz, General Kem, Congressman Perry, Senator Ward, Representative Gleim, and finally, Mayor Scott.
March along, sing a song.